Good morning, everyone. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 20 says, each man, and I always put there, or woman, must remain in that condition in which he was called. And I think that is important. There was a condition in which we were called, and that was a condition of God trusted us and he wanted us to do something for him, and he called us into that. A minister once said to me, be careful, because everybody goes, I'm a this or I'm a that. And sometimes you are a healer or you think you're prophetic, or you feel and you've got giftings in that way. But sometimes you are called to be a teacher in a space, in your home, for instance. And that's not your natural inclination. But as a mom, or a father or a grandmother, or even an aunt or a friend or whatever, you are called to be the teacher. And sometimes you're just called to live the life that Christ has asked you to live. And that's part of the teaching. And so for us to fulfill our calling is actually easier than what we thought, because it's not so set as we might have imagined. But it's also very hard, because sometimes we believe our calling is to be a wife and mother. And then God comes along with a new kind of calling. And you find that maybe being a wife and mother was maybe just your the ground on which you were trained, your training ground, your school. And it's not a small thing, and you've done well, and therefore your calling has grown. Or you think your calling is this, and all of a sudden it feels like God's calling you in a totally different direction. And it's something new and something totally different. And so your calling starts to look different. But that place in which we were called was a place where we were stood by God. And we could trust our actions, because that is what God has asked us to do and to be. We could trust who we were, because we were continually asking the Holy Spirit for guidance, asking Jesus for companionship and healing, asking God for wisdom. And so that place which we stand in, while we are getting our calling, is where we must be all the time. And our calling is that which God calls us to today. Sometimes you are called to the great, wonderful things in life. And sometimes you are called to be somebody's companion, just to love them and teach them about the great love of God. So go and think on that. Go and think on what your calling is and what you think your calling is, and see where God really wants you to be. And the most important is, go and sit by his feet and ask him if you are still on the right track. Have a wonderful day, and we'll speak again tomorrow.